Asha Se passare pure stava Asha Sakudan dilo je jamme jamme Prabhu se Sakudan dilo je jamme jamme Prabhu se Divyagan hide prakasito Divyagan hide prakasito Prema bhakti ja hote avira vinasa jate Prema bhakti ja hote avira vinasa jate Vediga jaharakarito Vediga jaharakarito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adavajanara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adavajanara Bandhu Lokanda Loke Rajivana Lokanda Loke Rajivana Srila Prabhupada Loke Rajivana Srila Prabhupada Loke Rajivana Prabhu Kara Daya Deo Mure Pada Chaya 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 Ebeja Kusiche Purana Ebeja Kusiche Purana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya 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 Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavani Bhaskatare Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol. Nitya Gora Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gora Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Asadars the Shishiman is Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya. Asadars the Shishiman is Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shambhakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nithai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
That's okay. That's good enough. Okay, thanks. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupada Paramesvara Rajikacharya Statatar Satashishi Srimad Bhagavatam Srimad Prabhupada Ki Jai Sankirtan Yoga Ki Jai All glories to some devotees Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Anandamaskricharam Chamarutamam Devam Sarasatnya Sandarojam Dirya Nastabreshi Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatim Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. Continue reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3, Hiranyakashipu's plan to become immortal. Text 32. Right? Tvata param naparam api anejad ejach cha kinchid vyatiriktam asti vidya kalash te tanavash cha sarva hiranyagarbho Shri Brihat Triprista Tvataparam Naparamapya Anejad Ejats Chakinchid Vyatiriktamasti Vidyakalaste Tanavascha Sarva Hiranyagarbho Sibrihat Triprastaha Tata Param Naparamapyanejad Ejats Chakinchid Vyatiriktam Asti Vidyakalaste Tanavascha Sarva Hiranyagarbho Sibrihat Triprastaha Tvataparam Naparamapyanejad Ejats Chakinchid Vyatiriktam Asti Garbho Sibrihat Triprastaha Ladies? Oh, sorry, go ahead. No. Majis? Okay. Tvata, from you. Param, higher. Na, not. Aparam, lower. Api, even. Anejat, not moving. Ejat, moving. Cha, and. Kinchit, anything. Vatiriktam, separate. Asti, there is. Vidya, knowledge. Kala, its parts. Te, of you. Tanava, features of the body. Cha, and. Sarva, all. Hiranyagarbha, the one who keeps the universe within his abdomen. Asi, you are. Brihat, greater than the greatest. Triprista, transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Translation. There is nothing separate from you. So again, this is Hiranyakashipu speaking to Brahma. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures, like the Upanishads, and from the sublimbs of the original Vedic knowledge, form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as the supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. Please repeat. There is nothing separate from you. Whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving, the knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures, like the Upanishads, and from all the sublimbs of the original Vedic knowledge, form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as a supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word param means the supreme cause, and aparam means the effect. The supreme cause is the supreme personality of Godhead, and the effect is material nature. The living entities, both moving and non-moving, are controlled by the Vedic instructions in art and science, and therefore they are all expansions of the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the center as the Supersoul. The Brahmandas, the universes, exist during the duration of a breath of the Supreme Lord. Yasyaika nishvasita kalam atavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jigarandanata. Thus they are also within the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu. Nothing therefore is separate from the Supreme Lord. This is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Om Yantamaranda Shanjana Saga Chakshman Tamanatasme Shri Guru Vedama Shri Chaitanya Muravishnam Stapitamina Bhutale Swayam Rupagaram Dati Swabrandikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Vedikaradhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation repeated. There is nothing separate from you, whether it be better or lower, stationary or moving. The knowledge derived from the Vedic literatures like the Upanishads and from all the sublims of the original Vedic knowledge form your external body. You are Hiranyagarbha, the reservoir of the universe, but nonetheless, being situated as a supreme controller, you are transcendental to the material world, which consists of the three modes of material nature. So, Prabhupada's purport goes into describing, the position of Krishna. The word Param is a supreme cause. The supreme cause, of course, is Krishna. Lord Brahma is only an empowered agent of Krishna. May appear to be the creator, but nothing can be done without Krishna's help. And aparam means the effect. So the supreme cause is the supreme personality Godhead, and the effect is material nature. The living entities, both moving and non-moving, are controlled by the Vedic instructions in art and science, and therefore they are all expansions of the external energy of the supreme personality of Godhead, who is the center as a supersoul. So we're all part of Krishna. This material dimension is the external energy of Krishna. The supersoul expansion of Krishna in everybody's heart, guiding all living entities. The Brahmandas, the universes, exist during the duration of a breath of the Supreme Lord. So through each pore of Mahavishnu expands the universe. Thus they are also within the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mahavishnu. So everything, this entire material dimension, is emanating from Mahavishnu, an expansion of Krishna. So it's considered in the womb of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mahavishnu. Nothing therefore is separate from the Supreme Lord. And how could anything be separate from Krishna? And this is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. Simultaneously one and different from Krishna. Inconceivably simultaneously one and different from Krishna. We can't even conceive it. But that is the topmost philosophy that Lord Chaitanya gave us, that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have our own identity, and Krishna has his own identity. Somehow it's inconceivable that we are one and different. So, but in the true understanding is the fully realized soul, like Srila Prabhupada, never sees anything separate from Krishna. And the most ignorant person on the planet, the great atheists, don't even see Krishna. And they see everything is, of course, separate from Krishna, since they don't even believe that Krishna exists. In fact, they scoff at the idea. You silly people go wasting your time in these Hare Krishna temples. You don't know where it's at. And this is complete ignorance. So we're somewhere in between. We aren't Uttama Adhikaris. Well, I shouldn't say it for everybody. There might be some Uttama Adhikaris in here. People that always see everything in Krishna and nothing separate from Krishna. Wherever they go, they just see Krishna. Like we were hearing from the class last night, the Prema stage. And even before that, the Bhava stage, one sees Maya completely controlled by Krishna and is no longer attracted because he can see the shadow for what it is. So I thought I'd I'm writing a book under Dhanavir Maharaj's guidance. He wanted me to write this book called TSKP, Traveling Sankirtan, because that's what I've been doing for a while now. And within it, I have a lot to share, well, from experience, from learning, from serving the great souls, people like Ramapad Swami Maharaj and Dhanavir Goswami Maharaj. We get some understanding, get some realization. We hear from them, and we can share that with others. So because of that, one of the big parts of this TSKP book is all about how to hang in there with it. Because book distribution, I'm finding a lot of quotes that say book distribution is the most important activity. There's even a quote that says, preaching means book distribution. Anyways, there's a lot of quotes for other things as well, but I really doubt there's that many quotes for other activity. There's so many points, strong points that he's making, that if you really want to please me, please distribute these books. At the same time, we have authorities. Is it a cultural conquest? Prabhupada just doesn't want only book distribution. He wanted temples, he wants deity worship, he wants nice prasad distribution, so it's a cultural conquest. So if we're given an order to sweep the temple floor, that's, and we're thinking in lines of, the reason why I'm doing this is to bring knowledge to the world. Then we have the right understanding. There's nothing wrong with sweeping the floor. It's not like it's better to distribute books than sweep the floor, if you're following the guidance of the authorities. But we should be in the mood of, like, somebody comes in while we're sweeping the floor and they're interested, why not, when you finish sweeping the floor, why not, or even midpoint, share the knowledge. And even just sweeping the floor in itself is sharing the knowledge, because these are bases. So I'm not trying to bring a fanatical a view on the importance of book distribution. At the same time, Prabhupada did say book distribution must be given stress always. So considering all that, if somebody can get involved or at least appreciate, and anybody can get involved with book distribution. A pujari, somebody comes to the temple, offer him a book. A cook goes out to buy boga or sell prasadam. Like Narottam, he sells lots of prasadam, and he's got a book table in front. So there's so many, we can all incorporate book distribution in our life. But as far as for TSK members, that's pretty much all we do. We do some cultivation as well. So to get people to stay in that service is part of my book. So I have a lot of things regarding what kind of mindset to stay with preaching, and for that matter, with any of our devotional service, because it's all preaching. And I can kind of incorporate that with this verse, if I so may. The atheist Hiranyakashipu, the gross materialist, who wants to block out Krishna from his life, he can't. Krishna's not going to attract Krishna's favor. He's a person. Krishna is. We're people. Would we want to? Let's say you're the president of a company, and you got this worker, maybe even the vice president, who just wants your position every moment of every day. He's waiting for you to slip up just a tiny bit to take your position. Would you invite him over for your Sunday get-together with your family? Probably not, right? Would you want your kid to spend time with such a person? Would you share some of your intimate things, like, man, me and my wife, we had a fight last night, and man, that was really, can I share this with you? I don't think you will. But that person who is, let's say, a janitor, he's been working in the company, doesn't want a paycheck, just wants to please the president of the company. he's probably going to be like, hey man, I hear you're not even getting paid and you're just doing this out of volunteer work. He's probably going to invite that guy over for Sunday, get-togethers and start sharing from his heart, things. So, but there's some other themes that when we don't see Krishna everywhere, our conditioning is to lord it over, to think like, and I want his position because I want to be the greatest. I want to be free, totally free to do whatever I want, whenever I want, free from the modes of material nature. As Prabhupada would say, the kingdom of God without God. And obviously that's not possible because Krishna is always in that position as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And at the very most, we as Jiva souls can only have 78% of the qualities of Krishna. We can never have more. So Krishna has 100%. So we're happiest with 78%. I remember when I first joined the temple, my first day, they gave me some pots to wash. I was washing the pots, and I had this incredible relief that I no longer have to play God. And I felt like I was putting the whole world off my shoulders. I remember having that vision, that I've been holding the whole world, thinking I'm the controller and this and that, and I could just and I thought, wait, this is wonderful to not have to play God anymore. Let God play God. This is great. It was such a relief. So we tend to, when we don't see Krishna everywhere due to ignorance, we tend to think, I just have to be better than my I just have to do more books than my Sankirtan leader, and then I'm the supreme. I just have to play the drum better than that one. I got to be the ultimate kirtan guy, and then I'm the supreme. Then I'm free to lord it all over. We can have these tendencies, but we should know that this game won't work. It won't bring you happiness. And also another byproduct of this ignorance is we think that we're the doer. Who knows that verse? Nice verse in Bhagavad Gita. Anybody else know that one? 327. What's in English? Okay. Yeah, he thinks we're the doer. We think we're the doer. We think I've distributed the books. By my prowess, I've been able to do all these things. Brigapati Prabhu, huge book distributor for many, many years. Somebody asked him, I think, how many books have you distributed? He says, none. Krishna distributed them. Wow. That gets rid of your false pride, right? I didn't do anything. Krishna did it all. That's great. Wow. It'll save you from so much suffering having that kind of mood. Misunderstanding. We go along in our Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada very clearly has pure consciousness. And people that are serving him, because that's the way we become like who we serve. So we're all serving Prabhupada, so we're gaining gradually, as we serve Prabhupada, we're gaining the consciousness of Prabhupada, which is pure Krishna consciousness. The pure, can't get a better consciousness than that. But then by serving them, and following Prabhupada's instructions, because they are serving properly, they are able to lead properly. So temple presidents, maybe a temple commander or GBC, they know more than we do if we're like new. So we tend to have a misunderstanding. We tend to all of a sudden wake up one day thinking, I've seen this many times, where all of a sudden one day the person's going, I'm an avatar. That's what it is. I'm an avatar. And then they leave because they think they're the avatar. They think they're the... It's so bizarre. And everybody's telling them, no, just take some more prasadam. Chill out. Keep chanting Hare Krishna. It's all good. Don't leave. No, it's all... Here's some more hall. No problem. You know, right? And they go, no, I'm the avatar. And then they run out the door and fall right in their face. Or whatever it might be. So many misunderstandings are there. So Rampada Swami Maharaj mentioned in yesterday's class that because we're in ignorance, we're at least to some extent bewildered. So to not run off of thinking we know it just perfectly. That's another symptom of what Hiranyakashipu is doing. He thinks he's this material body, absolutely for sure. No doubt about it. What? You know, just runs with, he knows for sure. He's for certain. The only person that can say that is Krishna and the person that represents Krishna. So Prabhupada, a lot of people would say, man, Prabhupada, you're sounding almost arrogant. In fact, when I first heard Prabhupada, I was shocked. That was my first knee-jerk reaction with Prabhupada, but I at least I had a little bit of intelligence to go, well, wait a minute. I've never seen anybody that. He's either totally mad or he's right. So let me check this out. And he's right. So if you're dead on right, you can also be that way. But the only dead right on person is the person who's going to repeat the words through parampara. Then he's dead on and right. So if we're not dead on right, which we can check with Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, we're a little crazy. And Prabhupada says everybody in this movement must be at least 50% sane. So we have to have enough intelligence to always check with Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu if we're right or not. That's really what it comes down to. The sane, 50% sane person, at least 50% sane person, admits that I'm not the supreme. I don't know everything. I need help. Like that. He takes the humble position. And then at that point, you offer somebody a book when they're thinking like that, they receive it and they take it in wholeheartedly. Whereas if we're offer Hiranyakashipu a book, yeah, have you ever noticed on Sankirtan, sometimes it feels like you're hitting a steel wall, this bing, just bounces right off, and sometimes it just goes right in there. You know, so Hiranyakashipu was like hitting a complete steel wall, just complete atheists are like that. So, so at that point we follow the supreme science, the science of Krishna, and we follow authorities, the ones that are representing authorized authorities. We don't mind doing that. And then, as what was that nice guru in Vrindavan, he says he stopped everything at some point in Vrindavan, and sannyasi got up there, and he was really heavy, which I thought was really, really wonderful. And he was upset because you see people bow down to Prabhupada. No offense, he's doing it right. Bowing down to Prabhupada, and he noticed that people weren't doing it so right, so sincerely, just kind of halfway through, get up and this and that. And so he made the comment that, when we bow down, we say the prayers, to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada says something like loud, and like full pranams, and then you get up. And then he was really heavy about it. He said, because this is actually the beginning of spiritual life. If you do this, your spiritual life has begun, and it hasn't begun until you do that. And that's quite a heavy, it was really heavy. It made a crystal clear point, I thought, that really, what is the program? Bhagavad Gita 434. I mean, if we want to realize the truth, if we want to get free of just seeing materially, material energy, I am this, you are that, and we just never see spiritually. We never can see what is behind, who is behind Brahma. Like Hiranyakashipu doesn't recognize who is behind Brahma. He thinks Brahma is the supreme because he's the best person in the universe. But behind Brahma, there's a whole bunch of things going on. Everything's going on. Another product of having Hiranyakashipu consciousness, which means not bowing down, accepting the instructions of the spiritual master. Backing up a little bit, Bhagavad Gita 4:30. Well, before I forget it, another product of not bowing down. I just forgot it. Going back then, Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tadvidi pranipatena paripashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanaha. If Krishna is telling Arjuna, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead explaining how do we solve our problems. How do we realize absolute truth? That's what human life is about, right? Human being, jivasya tattva jigyasa. Human life is meant for realization of the inquiry into the absolute truth, to make a permanent solution to the problems and miseries of life. One cannot feel whole and complete until one has realized the whole and the complete. Before I forget, I'm going to cut in and explain what I mean. Another product of material consciousness is thinking, forgetting the whole and the complete, Sri Krishna, and then running after his part and parcel, one of his parts and parcels, for happiness. But if we just think about that just a little bit, if we can consider the concept of not being an atheist and understand Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu, and realize that according to this verse, nothing is separate from the Supreme Lord, or the purport. Nothing is separate from the Supreme Lord. So, if everything is Krishna is everything, then, like if you're going down the street and you see that there's this thing and you really realize it, that here's an unlimited amount of money, and it's really easy to pick up, just a piece of paper, unlimited amount. Touchstone. You got a touchstone, anything you touch it turns to gold, or you got a $100 bill. Which would you bother picking up? Just pick up the touchstone and you automatically get the 100 and an unlimited amount. You got it all, right? Now, if you really know that, you wouldn't bother picking up the $100 bill. A $100 bill is nice, but it's not everything. So it's parts and parcels. Because we're part of Krishna, it's nice, but it's included within Krishna. And there's an enormous amount more there. So why not just go for the whole and the complete instead of the part and parcel? So what does that equate with? Bhagavad Gita 18:55. If one wants to know, one can understand me as a Supreme Personality of Godhead only by devotional service. And when one is fully conscious of me, by such devotion one can enter the kingdom of God. So this devotional service is non-different, Prabhupada says, from the kingdom of God. So that's how we get everything. That's the only way to get everything is by serving Krishna, Bhakti Yoga. That's the only way we can realize the Bhagavan feature of the absolute truth. Without realizing the Bhagavan feature of the absolute truth, we don't really realize our real nature, which is blissful. That aspect of our real nature, we don't realize. And without realizing that we're blissful, we don't get the intoxication that Prabhupada says we all must be intoxicated. We have to be intoxicated, Prabhupada says. But the real intoxication is by performing devotional service to Krishna, Bhakti Yoga, and realizing Bhagavan, Krishna. Since we have to be intoxicated, then when we don't get that way, then we do run after one of his parts and parcels. And that never works out. It never works out because Krishna is in control of that part and parcel. Yeah. So So considering all that, I just want to conclude with it. We have to admit, we have to be at least 50% sane. And I'm sharing all this because so many people have left the van and left the temples. And I think most of us that have been around a while realize that that person, not always, but that person often is having a momentary time of insanity where it's less than 50% sane. The person's less than 50% sane. And that's really sad. So if we can just kind of remember, it's just a momentary thing too. That momentary thing, though, can turn into ending up on the moon planet for 10,000 years, coming back when the grace period that we receive in this Kali Yuga to make rapid progress is completely gone. And we get eaten by our mother in our next birth. That's not going to be fun, because that's what the future is in Kali Yuga. Parents will even eat their own children to stay alive. It gets really bad. So it behooves us to recognize our incredible, fortunate situation. Demigods are waiting in line to take birth in this movement. What does Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam 11:5-36 say? Do you know it? It's, I'm going to paraphrase. Those that are truly intelligent, they worship Kali Yuga. They worship this age because in this age, in one lifetime, by preaching, by finding a spiritual master and carrying out his orders and focusing your whole life on preaching, really stay with it, you can go back home to Godhead. Can you imagine? You live on another planet. You live a billion years. Or you just in an animal body. Can't even think about this stuff. It's incredible, fortunate position we have. So recognizing incredible fortune, really understanding, if I could just leave with one thing, that we have to be at least 50% sane, which means that really means we check our mind with what Guru Shastra and Sadhu is saying. And if authority says something different, we should go, well, we should at least consider that maybe I have a misunderstanding. Very simple. And then we can continue to progress. And a lot more will happen. Because Prabhupada's really adamant, Krishna's really adamant about saving these souls on this planet. And everywhere. And of course Prabhupada has the same mood. That's why he's really stressing preach. Prabhupada calls preaching, taking up the... Prabhupada says the most intelligent people are those that are on Sankirtan. Those are the most intelligent people in the world. That's a really educated person. The educated person, you can tell how educated a person is by how much they're involved in the Sankirtan mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the intelligent, that's the really educated person. So that person understands. So we should take advantage of this, and we don't have to hate the age. When one really surrenders, the effects of Kali Yuga do not affect them. And if one performs one's devotional service nicely, Prabhupada says no fatigue takes place. How about that? So there's no inconvenience. I was hearing a class from one of those two pure devotees in Mayapur, the pujaris. What was the other's name though? Okay, and him or his brother was giving class, and he asked for questions, and he goes, Prabhu, about suffering, it's like so difficult, we got, he was kind of like bringing that to the table, and he cut him right off and says, suffering? He says, there is no suffering. And I was just like shocked, like, wow. It's like the ruchi stage where you have a taste, you don't feel tired. So we should know that all these complaints we might have in our head about things are really just due to our ignorance. Prahlad Maharaj isn't even complaining with Hiranyakashipu as his son, as his father. Can you imagine that? Literally, Hiranyakashipu is your authority. It's not as bad as Paramesvara Das. It's not. And he doesn't have any problem whatsoever. So we have to get in that kind of mood if we really, 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 really want to make it all away. And just by thinking about these things and applying them in your life, I've found the people that really take to these kinds of instructions really make nice progress. They don't flip out, one day, my temple president said this about this and that. I'm out of here. This person didn't respect me enough. I'm out of here. But if we are intelligent, we will go, I'm bewildered to some extent. I might not understand what's going on. I might not need to blasphemy GBC on the internet. I might not need to leave Iskcon because I'm going to start the Iskcon that Prabhupada really wanted, or whatever else it might be. We can just go, I'm bewildered. I can admit that. I might not see this accurately. Let me try to understand what's really going on. That's respect. Re-see. Let me re-see. And when I re-see, there's Krishna behind the scenes doing something. And the Prabhupada says the one who appreciates, one who is satisfied. The one who is satisfied, appreciates, is the one whose spiritual potency increases. And the one who is dissatisfied, doesn't appreciate, his spiritual potency decreases. So, if we do take shelter of Trinadapi Sunicena and really call out, it's whatever's happening, because Krishna, if you really surrender, Krishna's in control of our life completely. So whatever's happening, Krishna's doing it. And then if we consider that and appreciate when something hits us and we have a knee-jerk reaction to go, wait, what? We can just remember these things and this way make nice progress. And our spiritual potency will increase. Thank you. Any comments or questions? Yes.
I guess this is kind of just a technical point that I never really understood fully. It's kind of either or in my mind. But when we take birth again, does it necessarily have to be like in chronological order, or can you actually take birth in like a Satyuga, Trita, whatever? Or does it happen like, okay, you die now, and then that means you have to be born like, later in Kali Yuga? How does that work?
Well, you got to go somewhere.
Well, yeah.
And actually, I don't know the details. I mean, that's just speaking as a scientist, not
Can you go to a different
making
universe?
fun of you at all.
I guess my question, like, is it refined within this one universe that we're born?
No, you don't have to be born on Earth again. I missed what you said. Universe. It's so intricate. You might even be to a whole nother universe. There's so many, like the karmic, your karma, your desires that are going on at the time of death. There's like so elaborate. And honestly, I don't know how all the details of all that works as well. So I can't give you an exact answer. But I don't think anybody lives in limbo for too long, is my guess. But maybe. I don't want to sit up here and speculate on the Vyasa song. But if you're a devotee, we know from reading Bhagavad Gita, you made some nice progress. Then you go into like a little progress. You go to heavenly planets? No. What is it again? I haven't read this part in a while. Heavenly planets? Yeah. And then yeah. Or not even a Brahmin if it's done a little time. Is it a rich person's family? Or a wise person's family? Something like that. A rich person or one other thing. And then if you've done it a long time, you can be born into a family of devotees. So So either way, keep making the progress. Don't leave. Don't even think about it. My guru says, don't even think about the concept of you going to another body. Just keep going. Because if you think in that, then maybe that's what will manifest. So better to just focus on your service and doing as nice as you possibly can. Really purify that heart. Nice question. Any other comments or questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna. I have a question. You stressed at some point of intoxicated, you have to become intoxicated of love, but there's also stress on being sober-minded at the same time. I was wondering if you can explain how to keep those at the same time.
Well, usually our intoxication in the beginning stages is, a little too passionate, maybe we could say, or offensive intoxication. Dance around, bash into other people, and boy, I'm having fun. Or, wow, this olive was great, I ate all of it and didn't save you any. Or whatever, this is how I love spiritual life. What's wrong with you, man? You're all bummed out? You don't know, you're not advanced like me. This kind of mood. So it's not very sober-minded. It's not like, there's no gravity to it. Like you just start floating off the planet, and hit people along the way, with the gravity. You're like, riveted, solid, and, there's some depth there. And so with that, even Prabhupada, he's experiencing ecstatic symptoms all the time, way beyond what we're experiencing. And he's not even showing them. And even some of the pure devotees, they even suppress them. They're like, this is a bothersome thing. It's keeping me from doing my service nicely. How about that? That's mature. That's super mature, right? So rather than, oh wow, I'm going to show how blissed out I am so everybody can realize I'm just the greatest. It's, they're not doing that. Not saying anybody is, but let me just finish up before I forget. So some maturity there. The main thing is that you do your service nicely. So accept what is favorable for devotional service and reject what is unfavorable. If an action or a way of thinking or a way of doing something is getting in the way of your service, then don't entertain that. Yes. Okay. Oh, we got a mic coming.
Hello? Okay, so this is an online question from Acharya Nistadas Prabhu. He would like for you to talk about the importance of staying in Iskcon.
Yeah. Oh, nice request. That's, I think, as Acharya's a wonderful soul, he traveled me for a while, and, as we've been around a while, it's so sad to see people leave. So we have such desires that people really understand such things, because if they really understand it, they'll stay. So whether you're thinking selfishly or unselfishly, it makes sense to stay on board. You're on an aircraft carrier right now. Prabhupada is the captain of an aircraft carrier. And off that aircraft carrier is this ocean, and you can't see land anywhere. And there's just sharks cruising in that ocean. In fact, I was on with Dasraj Prabhu and I, he asked me to work on a temple in Hawaii. We were establishing a temple. Went to the beach one day. Top 10 beaches we snuck on. It was a private beach in the world. And maybe he saw me get a little intoxicated wrongly. It's a wrong intoxication. And he says, well, this might look really nice, but just a couple feet below the surface of this water, all that's going on is one living entity is eating another. I was like, wow, this is cool. Serving properly, just surrendering and getting all the nectar, you know? So, what an insight, you know? That's really going on. In that ocean of repeated birth and death, you have one living, Prabhupada says, people are simply eating, one person is eating another person. Either physically, in the lower species, sometimes in the human species, or subtly. Every businessman just wants to eat you alive. That's all he's thinking. Even the non-devotees. Even a non-devotee mother is just eating their children alive, subtly. And in the future, it's going to be grossly. So, Kali Yuga is progressing. It's going to get so beyond bad. If you've ever read parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam discussing how bad it gets, people like us will be hunted down and killed. There won't be even brahmanas that are, you know, they're all become atheists. It gets really awful. So, selfishly, we should just think about this for our own well-being. And then, if you're thinking a little compassionately about other living entities, that's usually what takes place as we advance in Krishna consciousness. Our problems get resolved as we surrender to Krishna, and then we have energy to think about it. Boy, it'd be nice if other people's problems could be resolved. Look how much they're suffering out there. I mean, the people out there, who's not going to hell for a long time? You know, it says in the Bible, you go to hell forever. Well, it almost is like that. It's forever means a long time sometimes. Sometimes that word forever is used when it's just a long time. It's a long time. Then they get trained up to eat stool, hang out in what's the name of that river where they all this pus and mucus and stuff in it. And something sloshes in the, you know, you ever been in the ocean, you get seawater and you gradually gain a taste for that. And then you're ready to have a hog body and eat stool, and you actually like it. You think it's not that big of a deal. I mean, this is what people are going to be going through in the future, and the only thing that is going to keep them from having this really horrible experience, and that's just physical. What about the psychological? I mean, I don't know if you've met a dying person before. What they're psychologically going through, a materialist, a devotee, it's not a big deal. A real devotee is no big deal. But the gross materialist, oh my God. It's like he can't become conscious, because if he does, he feels so bad. And Bhagavatam describes some of that as well. So you got both of those things going on. And the only thing that's going to save those people is a Vaishnava. Prabhupada was walking in Chicago, or New York, and they heard this rattling in a dumpster. And the devotees went over to the dumpster and they looked in. There's this big rat in the dumpster. They couldn't get out. And Prabhupada just looked at the devotees and said, "He is doomed." Because who's going to let a rat out of a dumpster? And you know the recycling truck's coming along here. So, that's where they're at. Prabhupada says if they don't get knowledge through parampara, then they remain in the lower modes of nature, ignorance and passion. And those lower modes of nature, ignorance and passion, you cannot get out of this material world. So all those people are dependent on us to get out of this material world. And so those who have some compassion, they endeavor like anything to help these people, give them a chance to get out. And each person, that you go out on book distribution, and somebody just sees you, doesn't buy a book, even walks by across the street and just goes, "I appreciate him." Prabhupada says he gets a human body. He doesn't go down for God knows how long. He gets a human birth in his next lifetime. So you might not even be or even you might be a big book distributor, or whatever. A lot of stuff's going, even if you're just going out there and you distribute one book a day, a lot is happening. A lot of people are getting human bodies. I hear that so often during the day. No, but appreciate you. Appreciate what you're doing. Yeah. Human birth. If I wasn't out there, what would happen? So we need everybody out on Sankirtan. Just read a quote from Prabhupada. Temples are not places for eating and sleeping. They're places from which we send out our troops to distribute profusely this literature. He says if profuse book distribution is not going on, then we are simply eating and sleeping. So we have to preach. We have to. This is the heart of Krishna, the heart of Prabhupada. Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu, I was in one of his classes, and he just shared with me and with the whole class that he's just crying. Wow, we got to save these people. We got to get them all back now. You know, it's like such a primal, primal is not the right word, visceral cry. I had a dream with Prabhupada. It wasn't a dream, it was one of those weird things. And he was on his Vyasa song there. I just touched him on the shoulder. Thought he was just a murti, right? And he moved. He goes, yes. And I go, good. Yes. And I go, oh, nothing, Papa, nothing. And I go to run away real fast, you know. And I went, something kicked in, intelligence. Krishna gives us intelligence. And so I said, Prabhupada, how may I serve you? I have this chance to serve Prabhupada. Let me ask him, Prabhupada, how may I serve you? And he goes, there's people walking in the room. He says, can you stop somebody so I can preach to them? That's his only desire. That's his only, the way he said it, it was his only desire. It was a cry. It was a visceral cry. And so I went walking. I tried to stop people, and they wouldn't stop. So I said, Prabhupada, I'm better with people walking, people that are sitting down. I'll ask somebody like that. So he starts walking with me. It was cool, walking with Prabhupada. What a feeling. It was something like that. And I saw a guy that was sitting down, and he goes, hey, do you have that Science of Self-Realization? And I go, yeah. Can you give a little donation? And he gave me $3. And then he said, there's this incredible spiritual master, incredible opportunity for you. He wants to take some time out with you. And Prabhupada was right there. I mean, right there. And there's no place to go. No place to hide or anything. And then he opened up his book, and the guy just smiled at me. So, and I thought, this is an eerie smile. And I started thinking, Krishna, what's up? There's some lesson here. And then I looked to find Prabhupada, and Prabhupada wasn't there all of a sudden. So Prabhupada is in his books. And Prabhupada, what did he ask? Let me preach to somebody. This is Prabhupada's desire. Please stop somebody so I can preach to them. And what is he saying? Distribute my books. It was a visceral cry like anything. Prabhupada wants to preach those people out there more than anything else. And if we give these books to them, we're fulfilling Prabhupada's desire. And if we please Prabhupada, we please Krishna. And we realize Krishna. We get the mercy of Krishna. Is that okay?
Yes. I kind of have a follow-up question of my own. Thank you for your question, by the way, or your response to his question. I've seen many times younger bhaktas or new people in Iskcon, leave because somebody's like really heavy on them, or there's not like some way for them to be able to kind of like express themselves or something, because they feel like someone's being really heavy on them, so they just leave because that person like doesn't back off, or they're just persistent. And yes, even though it's Krishna's arrangement, how can if you could explain maybe, how could a younger bhakta go about being able to kind of maybe resolve the issue, or how to stay strong and power through, and because there is still, this material world, and we got politics and, prejudices, biases, and things like that. So how can, one really power through, through the heavy time?
Nice question. This is a great question for Ramapada Swami Maharaj. I will share all that I know. And I'll mention a few things. Well, there was one devotee in Los Angeles. He was so heavy with everybody, including me. And a lot of people left. And I just went, this is a tidal wave. If I go up with this tidal wave, I'm going to lose. Or I'm going to get kicked out of the temple. One of the two. And so I thought, what is my best option right now? So I turned into like a minnow. And the minnow isn't affected by the tidal wave. The big shark. Yeah. So I just turned into like a minnow and I just said, yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. And I really accept, and whatever he would say, Prabhupada said, you should see your temple president as God. If you're not initiated, you should see the temple president as God. So I went into that mode. And you know what? Everything went away. He never got heavy with me again. And and I realized later why he was so heavy with me. The only reason why he was heavy with me, because he cares so much about me. That he sees this rebellious attitude in me and he wants it out. He wants the rebellious attitude out because if I do get it out, I'll make it in Krishna consciousness. That's my best friend. We should see these people as our friends. Our guru is our best friend and Prabhupada is our dearmost friend. Have you ever seen a guru with a disciple getting heavy? Oh my God. Just crawl up underneath a chair somewhere. Just go, ah! They care that much. And the sincere, we're dealing with Krishna. I'll give you a story about this. Prabhupada says that, be careful, you're dealing with Krishna now. There's a Christian, a crazy Christian, the fanatic ones messing up with the Harinam party. The Harinam guy finally lost, didn't lose it, just said, you really got to go. So finally he left. A bus ran him over and killed him on the spot. We're dealing with Krishna. Krishna wants you back more than you want to get back. So when things get heavy, you should see it as this is the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada, let's just conclude it with this. Prabhupada asked his disciples one day, how do you know an advanced devotee when you see one? And they were all coming up with their ideas, and I was like shooting them all down. He says, no, he's always ready to be chastised by his spiritual master. And those moments of heaviness, you're dumping a lot of stuff. And the advanced one, he's looking for that. He's going, come on, dump stuff on me. I'm the worst, I'm the lowest, please cut me down. Or whatever. He's ready to be chastised at every moment. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. And he really feels that. Thank you, Master. That's an advanced soul. We should try to become advanced souls. I don't know if that helps. But many temples have counseling systems as well. Counseling people, counselors. RVC has one, but our TSKP is very good. Chaupati Temple has counselors. Lots of counselors. So you might want to bring that up if you want. I don't know if you have a counselor, but you might want to present that to Acharya and see what he thinks about that.
Thank you. Could you just elaborate on one point? I heard back, when Prabhupada was, around, and when devotees would leave the temple, he would send people to bring them back.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that anymore?
Why don't we do that anymore? They did it for me. I was given this very precarious situation where I either had to distribute a book or something bad was going to happen. It's like put me in this position. Either I get this guy to take the Krishna consciousness, or I'm going to be annihilated. And I ran away. I was so afraid of approaching people. I ran away from the temple. And the temple, either Mother Sundami or Dasarath Prabhu, I think it was Mother Sundami, sent a whole bunch of people to look for me. 3 days later, they just found me on the curb downtown Tucson. Hey, Jaigaranga comes up. Hey, Paramesvara. Hey, how you doing? Hey, sat down next to me. And hey, want some prashadam? Come on back in. Come on in the car. Good boy. Yeah, all right. And drove me to the temple, and thank God. So I think people still do that, but at the same time, it's a war going on. There's some people that leave our program. I write them. I call them. They don't write me and call me back. It's like you go out as a medic. You're a medic on the battlefield, and you know what they do? It's my guess. Somebody told me this. They put certain color ribbons on people, or this is a red one. Don't even bother working on him. He's gone. He's going to die. Here's one. It can be done fixed up real easy. Put a yellow ribbon on him. So when the medics come in, they look for the yellow ribbons, the ones that get fixed really easily. He's got a tourniquet on, and he's ready to have a gun in his hand in 3 days and fight and shoot away. And then he's got some different color ones. So you look for the yellow ones. You look for the ones that can get fixed up really. You only have so much energy. What's the manpower, It's hardly anything. We're on a battlefield. And that's the hardcore reality of the situation. And I wish it was different. That's why we're endeavoring so much to make more devotees, because we need more manpower. Because it's sad what's going on. Yes, that was a long time. Probably ought to stop here. Thank you for tolerating me. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Devo